Tell you something, being a man ain't no joke.
Toxic masculinity.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sex.
Hello, fellas, and welcome back to A Christian Male Perspective. This is Andre again, coming back at you with another episode. I'm joined here today by my lovely wife, Victoria. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
And today, we're going to talk about love. Why? Because it's that time of the year, it's that season. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. You guys will probably see it right around this time the video should be dropping. And I think it's an appropriate topic for us as Christian men to talk about what is love, how we can show love to those that are important to us, but also how we can receive love from those same people. The world has their own definition of love. And if you really think about the way the world talks about love, it is generally more in a materialistic fashion. That's at least the sense that I get. Victoria, kind of what do you... When you hear about love and you think about it from the world and media in general, what comes to your mind?
Probably a lot of it is sex. I think that's what has unfortunately became what people think of as love. You know, everything is love and sex and they're all together, and you don't think of really what the true meaning of what love is about. It's more than just being intimate with someone, loving someone, kissing someone. It's more than just the sex part.
Right. And I guess a lot of times when I think of, to piggyback off of that they confuse the intimacy of sex with the closeness of love. I think that sometimes things can get mixed up. When I was thinking about it, I think of like materialistic, because a lot of times I think as men, we want to show our love by how big of a gift that we can give. You think about from the time think about guys, especially as you're getting going on dates, right? Yeah, I believe, and I said it before in the previous video that'll be right up here, talking about the difference between a 50-50 guy and a 100% guy. And in that video, I talk about what it means to go on a first date. And yes, guys, you should be paying for, especially for that first date. But a lot of times guys want to flex. They want to show how much they can do. And that's kind of a substitute for how I care about you by how much I spend. And I think that's what I kind of see from a lot of guys talking, especially on social media, portraying that. But what does the Word of God say about love?
Yes.
If you go back to Ephesians 5:25, this is now talking about a husband and wife perspective here. You got my lovely wife. It says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her. And that's good, and that's a good starting point, but that doesn't give us as men, okay, well, how should we love our wives, right? We're compelled as Christian men, and we're told to love our wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for it. So there is a sense of sacrifice, right? You giving yourself up for someone, but I think love is so much more than that.
Yes, definitely. I think most of us have heard of the definition of love when it comes to 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. And when the question of what is love come to play, it lays it out pretty simple. It says love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. Lord bless us, Jesus. It keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be still. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. I think that in itself is, when you read those words, it's that eye-opening, like, oh wow, do I really love this person? I'll add this little story in there. When I met my husband, when I was talking to my husband on the phone, so we were talking on the phone, I was actually in a relationship, for what it was. And I was telling him, it's like, I just don't know if I love this guy, and I'm not sure if he's the one, and it just wasn't a good match, honestly. But he said, well, why don't you go read first? This is the person who's going to end up being my husband. He told me, why don't you go read 1 Corinthians 13 and 4? And he took me to that scripture, and I read it, and I was like, well, that answers that question. Because I definitely wasn't being patient or kind. There were so many things that made me realize I did not love that person. And so that's always a story I like telling, because, I don't know if he was trying to be slick, trying to be suave. I think he was just being who he was, which is just an honest guy. And he's like, you basically look at that and that'll let you know if you love him. And it made me realize, no, I didn't.
Yeah, she loves telling that story. So one of the things that, especially I think for me, one of the things is I tried to look at that verse, especially once we got married, those set of verses, and I tried to live those out in our relationship by being patient, by being kind, by not dishonoring, not being self-seeking or focusing just on me, not being easily angered or keeping a scorecard of wrongs, like past wrongs. And I know there's a lot of these things that can trip up relationships, right? The couple that kind of jumped out of me was just even thinking about that verse from a practical level is keeping a record of wrong. And as I can't say it's a man or woman thing. I don't know that, but I know sometimes we keep hurts, right? Someone may say something that hurt us, and we'll keep it here, and we don't work through it. We don't process it. And guys, on another video, I talk about when it comes to being a leader. Sometimes being a leader is hard, and one of the things we have to learn how to do is process our emotions. But in a relationship, when you're dealing with someone else, learning how to process when feel like you've been disrespected or felt like someone has been unloving towards you is very, very important, because if you don't, it's going to build up bitterness and resentment. And the next thing you know, I remember.
Yes, I know. I'm agreeing. Amen. It's a process, everyone. So if you're don't listen to this and be like, oh Lord, I don't love my husband. I don't love him because you don't fit the whole criteria, because we've been married for 21 years. And there are times that, no, I am not patient. There are times that, no, I am not kind. It took me a long time to stop keeping those records of wrong. That was Victoria. It wasn't so much just so I can hang it over his head, but in a way they gave me excuses. It'd be like, well, he's not so perfect himself and he's done all this. So it kind of helped me accept some of the parts that I was lacking in. So please don't listen to this and be discouraged and think, I don't love him, there's something wrong. It's a process. This marriage is a process. Love in itself is a process. It's a journey. It's about getting better at things.
Right. And that's something that, pivoting off of that, we're going to talk about the love languages. This is something that we found in our relationship. We went through a book called Love and Respect, and it was, we'll put the link down into the book. It was very helpful in our marriage. But as part of going through the book, we actually stumbled on the love languages. This is a quiz, if you will, and a methodology to find out how someone can show you love. And to me, that gets very important, because yes, you want to be patient, you want to be kind, you want to be, not boastful and not proudful. And that was actually the one part in our relationship that's something I really had to work on, was not being proudful, guys. And I talk about it in the video related to confidence, about how confidence can lead to pride and arrogance, and we definitely don't want to do that. And that's something that God has been working with me on. But when it comes back to the love languages, there are 5 primary love languages that they talk about during the quiz. You kind of want to go through those quickly, Victoria?
Yeah. So I have my trusty phone here. Y'all bear with me. But we did the 5 love languages. We did the book, as he said, Love and Respect. And then there's also a book called The 5 Love Languages. And we went through the book and we took the quiz. And there's 5 languages that they talk about within the quiz. There's quality time, and we'll go through more as we discuss our scores and how we score. We'll go more into detail. But there's acts of service, quality time, receiving gifts, words of affirmation, and physical touch. Something that we started this early in our marriage. I would say maybe 15 years ago. It was not long if our son had been born, and we had to make it through some things, and we knew we were in it till the end, and neither one of us refused to be wanted to be miserable till the end. So we went into the marriage going, we're gonna make this work, and we're going to be happy through it. And so we were constantly always trying to look up resources, trying to figure out how do we best not be the norm in a way. We saw relationships that that struggled, and we were just like, we believe you can have a happy marriage. And so we were willing to read books together and do these goofy little quizzes that other people are like, what in the world? And so you have to go through a set of questions. I'm not sure how many questions there are. I believe it didn't even take, it doesn't even take 5 minutes to finish them. But after it finishes, it gives you a percentage of how much each category is for your love language. So I don't know if you want me to talk about mine first.
You want to go first?
Okay.
So introduce which one was your highest
primary?
Your primary love language. So guys, just to be clear on this is the language that she has to feel loved, right?
Yes.
So if someone wants to show her love, this is her primary language. Now, everybody's going to have something in each one of these categories. This is like a personality test, right? In a personality test, very few people are 100% introvert
right.
or 100% extrovert. So you're going to have a little bit of all of this. That's perfectly normal if that's the case. If you have 100% on one, then you might want to, think about taking it over again. But I'll just be honest with you. But so she's going to go through her primary love language, then I'll go through my primary love language. We'll talk about that a little bit from each one, and we'll just kind of work our way down.
Okay, so for my first love language, my primary is 33% at acts of service. Again, we've taken this quiz several times over the last 21 years. I would say that acts of service have gradually become bigger in its role. When I first started off, I believe it was receiving gifts. That if he wanted to show me love, just keep bringing me stuff. And I don't think it necessarily means that, oh my God, we change over time. But acts of service, it says, can vacuuming the floors really be an expression of love? Absolutely. Guys and girls, absolutely. Sweeping the floor, yes. It says anything you can do to ease the burden of responsibilities weighing on an acts of service person will speak volume. The words he or she wants to hear, let me do that for you. Laziness, broken commitments, and making more work for them tell speakers of this language their feelings don't matter. Finding ways to serve speaks volume to the recipients of these acts. So I definitely realize how much I've changed, because I guess maybe earlier in our marriage, I was just used to doing stuff. I felt like that was my role. And now it's like, oh yes, somebody did the dishes. Thank you so much. I don't necessarily need the flowers all the time. I do appreciate them. I do accept them, but that's not how I feel like, oh my gosh, you're really showing me love. When someone goes out of their way to do something unexpected, or even doing something with me that I know they don't like. If I see it as an act of service, it's an act of service. Mm-hmm. You want to tell them about your first?
Sure. My top one was words of affirmation. It says, actions don't always speak louder than words. If this is your love language, unsolicited compliments mean the world to you. Hearing the words, I love you, are important. Hearing the reasons behind the love sends your spirit skyward. Insults can leave you shattered and are not easily forgotten. Kind, encouraging, and positive words are truly life-giving. And guys, this was at 37% for me, and as my wife said, we evolve, right? When we first got married, even probably up until we did this a couple of years ago, acts of service was my number one, like heavily, right? It was, you show me your love by what you do for me. That was always the way I view love. I view love as action, right? You show me you mean something by what you do. Show me your work, if you will. But I guess more as we kind of age and as things change, like I said, my wife, we've been in this for 21 years, and her telling me, you know what? I appreciate you taking care of our family. You being the provider, the primary provider for our family for 21 years, where we didn't have to worry about food. God blessing you and you working hard to do that means a lot to me. When I'm spending time with the kids, or I go and do that stuff with the mentor organization, or with my nephews, her telling me, I appreciate, I see the work that you're putting in, means a lot to me. I noticed that I love you. She always says I love you, so not that means any less, but her appreciation for the work that I put in, her appreciation for what I do for the family and for the community does mean a lot to me. And that's changed over time.
I think some of it might have to do with as people fill in those, like we've taken the quiz, we've adjusted how we love each other. And because of that void that we might have felt like was missing is no longer there. So that's not what we need. So now it's like, okay, well, now we need this. Now we need, when we first got married, for whatever reason, I needed to fill up, I needed to receive, I needed to see. You did that. You filled that gap in. And then it was, you know what, I need physical touch. I want to feel you hug me. Maybe that was lacking previously. You felt that in. And so it's just been, I think over time you see as we fill in those different things. Because I know when acts of service, when I found out that was his love language, my sister struggled, y'all. I struggled, okay? We struggled because, I don't like. He liked cleaning. That was his. Just for me to clean was a big act, and I keep my house clean, y'all, but it's something I have to do. It's not some, ooh, yay, this is enjoyable. But when I found out, okay, no, he see that as an act of love, I was like, well, let me purposely go do laundry every week and put them up, and try to do that without him noticing, because I know he's feeling love that way. So maybe now I can go, that's not your first act of service. Let me we'll let the laundry sit a little bit longer and just tell you how much I appreciate you. I don't know if that'll work.
So what was your second one?
Okay, so again, acts of service was 33 for me, and coming in at a close second was 30% at quality time. It says in the vernacular of quality time, nothing says I love you like full undivided attention. Being there for this type of person is critical, but really being there with the TV off, fork and knife down, and all chores and tasks on standby makes your significant other feel truly special in love. Distractions, postponed dates, or the failure to listen can be especially hurtful. Quality time also means sharing quality conversations and quality activities. So somebody might be like, that's being spoiled. If that's what you want to call it, sure. But that's how, I was like, I'm not surprised that those are right there. Because if you do something for me and we spend the time together, if we can do laundry together, I'm good. If we're washing dishes together, hey, but we're getting work done and you're spending time with me. So
the funny story, I love my mom. So my mom is in California. When I told you, we'll tell the story about my childhood at some point. But when we got married, my mom, I think she met Victoria once before, may have talked to her on the phone, but my mom came up for the wedding. And it's the way I am, it's the way my grandmother raised me, right? If you're able to do something, you do it, if you're able to do something, you do it. It's just, I grew up on a farm. If you didn't work, you didn't eat. So, it was kind of that work mentality. So we were, this is actually after we got married. My mom came down to visit us right after our son was born. So it was, son had, I think he had a blowout. You guys don't know what a blowout is. Diaper blowout. So it was a blowout, It was messy. So me and her both were cleaning the baby. This is, the baby is I helped make the baby. The baby's my responsibility too. So we cleaned the baby. And my mom, it kind of threw my mom for a loop because we cleaned the baby
together.
Then we fed him because he was,
we did a lot of stuff together. It was a lot of, we did a lot of stuff together. And she was just like, this is why. And there was a sense of, why are you guys doing stuff together? She can do it on his own, or he can do it on, and I think for both of us, quality time was just, and I'm kind of surprised that, well, mine's is 30% at quality time.
Mine's is 20%.
20%.
Right.
So
that was number 3 on my list, by the way. Words of affirmation was number 1, acts of service was 2, and quality time was 3.
So that's been, but it's definitely, I think we're still very much if we're gonna do it. It was really hard, y'all. Today was really hard because, and I didn't tell them this. So we had the ice out there. So full disclosure, we do a lot of stuff together. When it's laundry time, we're doing it together. God has blessed us, and I there's stuff he do in the house to help me. There's stuff he do outside. I do outside to help him. And so he's chopping away at the ice. It took everything within me not to go out there and go pick up that shovel and help him do it. But I said, Victoria, because we just had a conversation about him letting me be the wife and handle the home. And I was like, and I'll let you handle the stuff outside. And he was out there just really chopping away this ice. And I wanted to go out there and grab that shovel so bad, y'all, but I stayed strong. It was cold too, so that helped. When I stepped at the door, I was like, because I wanted to be like, oh, but you can help. And
so that's why you came to the door.
Well, I was trying to see if I can help, and I was just like, Victoria, let him do it. He got it. But we're so used to just coming in and being there for each other, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's like, hey, if I'm 30% quality time, he's 20%, but his is, I said, y'all, I don't know how he gonna have it up there, but his words of affirmation is 37%, so that's a lot. And the acts of service come in at 23, and your quality time is 20. Mine's is 30.
Things change over time.
Things definitely change over time. I have, for my third one, gifts, and we kind of talked about that already, receiving gifts. I don't know if you want to read.
Yeah, that was
me to read.
3% receiving gifts. You can go ahead and read because
wow,
3%. But that's the way I've always been. I never was a big gift guy. Well, growing up, it was me, my grandmother, my grandfather. My grandfather died when I was 8, and I think that was the last time I remember getting maybe a birthday gift. I think I may have had one birthday party after he passed away. So Christmas, we had food on the table. That was your gift. Thanksgiving, you had food on the table. That was your gift, right? That was, and it's not that we lived just poor, but but we really didn't. I remember having one party, and that was the party I was in the 3rd grade. That was right after Dad passed away, and I remember that party because that's the party where I broke my leg. That's why I remember that so well. It was right after that party.
Memories. And
it was right during the Olympics. So that must have been probably the 84 Olympics. And yeah, I remember breaking a leg there. And yeah. So gift giving, not a big priority. But when we first got married, it was a huge priority for her.
Yes, it was. And something I would suggest you guys when you do these love languages, look at them as how you like to receive it, but also let the other person tell you how they best express their love language. It doesn't always work hand in hand. For Andre, when he first started taking the test, acts of service was the way he liked receiving gifts, and it's the way he showed love. At that time, he could have done 1,000 things in a house, and it did not do anything for me, because at that time I wanted to receive gifts, and my way of showing love was to give gifts. He's 3% is like always been his for receiving gifts, and so I wanted to show love by Lord knows if I worked like a big job and had money, this child would have probably every little gadget he can think of, because I want to give. For receiving gifts, he said, don't mistake this love language for materialism. The receiver of gifts thrives on the love, thoughtfulness, and effort behind the gift. If you speak this language, the perfect gift or gesture shows that you are known, you are cared for, and you are prized above whatever was sacrificed to bring that gift to you. A missed birthday, anniversary, or a hasty, thoughtless gift would be disastrous. So would the absence of everyday gestures. Gifts are visual representations of love and are treasured greatly. So I think it's really important to remember when you're doing this, there's no right and wrong love language. There's nothing wrong with having receiving gifts as your love language. It's how you operate at that time. And so for that time in my life, it was, when I felt like whether it was thoughtless, but when he would come home with the special gifts, that I would look at and go, but why? There was many years of but whys, and I would literally take it personally. It would be like, but you don't care, but you didn't, and he would be looking at me like, but I have no idea, I didn't know. He's like, but I tried. And so trying to be understanding on both people's part, and in all of the love languages, and knowing that you're working at it together.
And that was something, guys, I know for many guys, giving gifts can be really difficult. And let's just be honest. There's birthdays, there's Christmas, there's anniversary, there's Valentine's Day. At least 4. There's one more.
Just because. There's the just because. Sure. You have to have the just because.
So, and those happen multiple times. So, But those other 4, guys, and I'm just being honest, we know that yes, we have a birthday, Christmas exists for us, Valentine's Day exists for us, and anniversaries exist for us. But we know that they're primarily about those others. And you can say that, but we know that's true, right? We know that we can't miss on those. So guys, try to be creative, and it doesn't always have to be something extravagant, again, flashy, like the materialism. It doesn't always have to be that, right? It can be something very, very, if you know something that they want or something that they like to do, it could be something like that. Like I've been hearing my wife for the last couple of months say that she would like to do a couple of things, and there's a couple of things that she wanted. Not necessarily expensive things. We have Valentine's Day coming up. So I have a gift for her that I think she's going to enjoy, because I've been trying to pay attention and listen to the things that she says she wants or the things that she says she needs.
I think that'll be a good time to interrupt and go ahead and tell me what that is, if you don't mind. Just let everyone know so we can know that didn't work. Okay.
Nice try, though.
Nice try. Okay. I will have to disagree with the whole Valentine's and Christmas and stuff being just for them, for guys to show their love to women. I'm a person who like giving gifts. That's how I love to express my love. And I think whenever you give a gift, it should be an expression of love. Valentine's is not just for the man to show how much he loves her by giving them a gift. Women, hey, you're watching. Especially if you know that his love language is receiving gifts, go out and make those extra efforts. We know there is that one gift for those who are married, of course, that is expected or that's wanted. But there's a lot of things that we can do, especially if you find out that that person's love language is acts of service. Giving them a gift of having someone clean their house, that would speak a lot. Trust me. Trust me, for someone who, yes, if that was a gift for Valentine's Day, that I would appreciate it, you know. But if somebody's love language is quality time, giving them that gift. But I'm a personal believer in not getting away with going, oh, well, it's for the guys to express their love, or even, I mean, but that's for me for holidays at all. Holidays aren't just for parents to show their kids something. To me, kids supposed to be showing their love by giving also. But that's my 2 cents on that part of it.
So, guys, I will agree with her. If you give space and opportunity for your lady to show you love. Let her know the things that you like. Let her know what you want,
yes,
so that she can provide those things for you. And it could be just as simple as telling her, can't read minds, right?
Yes.
So be direct. Be expressive about the things that you want and the things that you desire.
Women, if you tired of getting stuff you don't like, quit beating around the bush. Just say, hey, you know what? I would really like blah, blah, blah. There's this app we use at Christmas time. It's called Draw Names. And you can, so that's another little app. It's called drawnames.com. And you can go in there and put in, like, it links to several websites. But you can go in and put stuff you actually want. And then a person can go and look at your wish list. Yeah, it's a wish list. And that way you're not guessing, some people just don't feel good about just saying, I want. But you have a wish list. Use it for whatever. We use it for the holidays with our family. But you can use it for Valentine's Day. Just go out and say, hey, you know what? Put a price range on it. And just go have fun and, click stuff you might not be about to get, but click stuff you think that's in their price range and give them an opportunity to buy those things for you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, so next, the love language we're going to talk about is physical touch.
Physical touch. What was yours?
Yeah, my physical touch was 17. Yours was?
10%.
10%.
Yeah. That's gone down for me. I used to be much higher on physical touch. Again, with me, quality time, physical touch, hugging, all of that. I'm still a hugger, but I think it was the kids getting older and them still wanting to lay on me. And I'm not going to give their weight, but them being much heavier now. And it's just like, get off me, that and I make fun now, but a lot of times I'm like, oh, get off me, But for some people, physical touch is much higher. Mm-hmm. Even with us, again, wrapping in those love languages. You got somebody, one person's quality time, another person's physical touch. When you're watching TV, slip your hand over there and hold hands. Give that person the physical touch that they need. Mm-hmm. This says this language isn't all about the bedroom. It's a person whose primary language is physical touch is, not surprisingly, very touchy. Hugs, pats on the back, holding hands, and thoughtful touches on the arm, shoulder, or face. They can all be ways to show excitement, concern, care, and love. Physical presence and accessibility are crucial, while neglect or abuse can be unforgivable and destructive. Physical touch fosters a sense of security and belonging in any relationship.
So one of the things, guys, I know the general idea when people hear physical touch, they think about guys being handsy. Let's just be honest, right? They think about guys just pawing women, for lack of a better term. Groping. Yeah. Yes. And they think about sex. Just being honest. Yes, sex is part of it, guys. We're not going to be clueless here. We're Christian men, but we're not clueless. But there is much more to it than that. While your wife is in the kitchen doing dishes, slipping up behind her, just slipping your arms around her, or even helping her to do the dishes at the same time. Again, you're getting a physical touch, acts of service, and quality time together. That's a 3-for-1 combo. It's kind of hard to beat that. When she's sitting down, I know my wife, I hope she don't mind me telling, but she's had several surgeries on her foot. She has extremely fat feet, like a board. But when she's been walking, whether she's been taking care of the kids or working with the mentor organization, whatever she's been doing the whole day, if I know she's spent a lot of time on her feet, when she comes, we get the chance to sit down and together, I would take the lotion out and I will rub her feet. And it's just because I know, if I know she's had a really rough day or she's made a comment in the background and I hear that, to me, that's like a clue. Oh, and she doesn't, and I don't think she does it to say that. Actually, I know she does it. But to me, that's a sign of, okay, let's go and my wife, right? This is the woman that I love. So this is an opportunity for me to show love to her. Now, it's not high on her. It's only 10%. But
it is the acts of service. And for me, he's actually giving me acts of service. My feet hurt. He's providing an act of service by rubbing my feet. His is physical touch. So he's fulfilling some of his love language by getting the physical touch he needs from rubbing on my feet. So it really is a give and take throughout the whole thing.
Just guys, so just remember, it's the bedroom's important, no doubt. Don't mistake that. The bedroom's important, but it's more than just the bedroom.
Yes.
Take it much more. Hold a hand, right? If your lady's is physical touch, if her love language is physical touch, hold her hand. Ladies, if your guy's love language is physical touch, think about ways to make him feel special beyond just the bedroom. Don't neglect the bedroom, but beyond just the bedroom.
Something like, especially one with the bald head, you got to rub the little bald head or rub your hand through the balding spots and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things. And a lot of times I think sometimes we know things that make our spouse or loved one feel good. But this is, like he said before, about being intentional. When we know that when you do the 5 love languages, you're doing it with a purpose. You love someone. This is a way to show your love. This is more than just some funny quiz. But it really is a way to get to know the person that you love. They have the love languages for, I believe there's your job, there's for your family, there's for friends. So when you're doing the love languages, it spreads. It's more than just even between a married couple or just between a couple. It spreads wide.
So one thing I will say about this, we did this with our kids when they got a little older and they can read the languages for themselves. And my daughter, her love language is physical touch.
Yes.
Not surprisingly, my son's love language is physical touch.
Yes.
And I think they get that primarily from her when she was, I think
it'll probably change. It'll probably change as they get, ours have changed several times since we've been married. So but Lord knows. And it's something I've learned to appreciate, even though sometimes I want to say get off me, but I have to realize there's their love language. Just like I want Andre to do stuff for me to meet my love language needs, I want to do stuff for my kids to meet their love language needs. So that means, hey, when she comes up and hugs me, embracing the hug and not being stiff and going, when will this be over? But embracing those hugs. If you find out your kids do these love languages, if you're able to find out your kids' love language, you don't have to go spend $500 on, what was the thing? The Quest 2. It's not 500, but we were going to go, the Oculus thing. Yes. We were going to do that for Christmas. Why not? It'll be fun for her. That's not her love language. She's like, I don't really want anything. And that's hard for me again, because I'm like, but I like giving gifts. I want to give gifts. But again, finding out the love languages, not doing stuff and wasting money, being intentional about it all.
So with that being said, guys, like I said, we've been at this for 21 years. We have not arrived.
No.
We've changed. We've evolved in our love language and how we want to receive love and how we are able to give love to each other. It is a work in progress, but you have to start the journey.
Yes.
You really do. You just can't sit and hope and wish things get better. No. God wants us, and I believe this with all of our heart, He wants us to seek Him and then put in the work. We got to do both.
Yeah.
We got to pray. We got to put God at the center of it. And then when we get the direction, we get the inspiration, we get get that nudge from him, we have to go act on those things. And there are tools out there like the love languages, which I'll put links below, like Love and Respect. I'll put that link below there too. And we'll probably have Victoria on to talk about that down the road, because that was a very good book and very helpful for our relationship. But there are things that we can do to show love. Yes, being patient, being kind, not being proud. Those are definitely, and God talks about those qualities and characteristics that we can have. That's important. We should seek to do those things more. But when it comes to actually on a day-to-day showing love in practical ways as well, the love languages are a good tool that you can use to do that with your significant other. Whether you're married for 50 years, married for 21 years, newlyweds, or if you're just in a serious committed relationship. Even if you're not married yet, it is a tool and an opportunity for you to learn more about the other person so that you can show them love in a way that they'll best receive it.
Yes.
All right, guys. This is Andrea again with a Christian male perspective. Victoria, anything else before we cut out?
No, thank you for having me here. I felt like I invaded your territory enough, but I do appreciate it.
No problem. Again, stay sharp, fellas. Thank you for watching today's video. Please like it, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. You can follow us on social media at A Christian Male Perspective. Stay sharp, fellas.